Hello, 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 my lovely people. Okay. Let's see here. It should be live. There we go. You guys see a notification. Hi. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay, so I'm making a very simple self-drafted tote. I've done this in the past. My measurements are always usually a little bit different, but I put them in the description box so that way it will help you guys know what I'm doing. Awesome. Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Everything's coming through okay. All right, for hardware, all you really need, and you really don't even need this, but a magnetic snap. And then I have some rivets. I like to put rivets on my straps and my little key holder that goes inside, just in case, you know, it's just a precaution more than anything else, really. Okay, so I've got that. Optional binding, or you can get another piece of cork and do the top for the binding just for the finish, so I'm not having to fold it down. I think it'll go really nice and contrast really nicely with that print right there. I may exit out and say, nope, I want to do something else. So just follow along, I guess. Okay. All right. So I put the measurements in the description box, but I've got two straps, 4 inches by 23 inches. This is 13 by 8, 2 pieces. So this is like the top portion. And then the bottom portion is the printed fabric again. But this is 5 by 13 with 1 inch square cut out. I'm going to be cutting this in half. But I first want to kind of put it together and then put the snaps in, glue everything, fancy stuff. I may actually just cut it in half now, actually. Yeah, so this is about 2.5 inches by, hold on, I'll put this on there too, by 8.5 inches. So it's a little bit wider than 2 inches. And I'm going to cut it in half, so 4 1/4 approximately. And so let me get my good scissors. There we go. So I want to do my prep stuff first. So I'm going to do these pieces first and then my handles and then construct the bag. It's actually going to come together very fast. There's no lining. This is a very simplistic minimalist tote. There's no lining in this. It helps with cost of making them faster as well as selling it for a less amount of material, so that way you don't have to sell them at like $80 a piece. So let's first do these 2 pieces and then we'll do our straps. So here on this one, I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to twist it and fold it towards each other. I don't think I gave you a measurement of this, but this is like 14 inches by 3/4 of an inch, because this is 3/4 of an inch hardware. Okay, I shouldn't have to use more than 1 bobbin. So I've got 1 bobbin completely wound up. I've got my needle threaded. Everything's ready to go. Okay, jointed stitch length. For most of the pattern, I will be using 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. If I do anything different, I will let you know. But this is a very, you know, quilter transition kind of pattern. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this over like so, and then flip this guy up like that, and then I'm going to take this and put it up right there. So I'm actually going to take it and I'm going to push that in. There we go. I don't know why I'm not seeing comments, because if you guys are saying something, I am so sorry. I don't see comments for some crazy reason. Hold on, let me see if I need to switch over. I want to be able to see comments, so I may have to switch over to the other account. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and then we can get things going. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so right here. Okay, so here I get really close with my stitching, or I can just stitch up to it and come back down, which is what I think I'm going to do. And then I'm going to rivet it, because that way I don't have to worry about getting too close with my needle. Okay, I'm going to do a number 4 stitch length. I'm going to pull my threads through the back just to make it nice and neat. Okay, hello. Hi, Emma. Oh, really? That's nice. Who's JK Studios? Okay. Not quite all the way over, so I wanna. There we go. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna pull them. It doesn't really matter if I pull them to the back or not. It's because it's just, you know, it's one side is not unseen. Okay, here we go. Okay, so there we go. So this is going to go on the inside of the bag, just kind of hanging so you can put your keys on it and not have to worry about, yeah, I may even make it shorter. We'll see. So that you don't have to worry about losing your keys. So put that to the side there. This is going to be for the magnetic snaps. Let me measure up. I'm going to say 1 inch from the bottom. Get. And then mark your center as well. Wanted it to be far from the edge so that when I did my sewing, it didn't get caught up in the foot. Make 2 little snips. can always make the holes, but you can't make them smaller. So I'm using a flat profile magnet. It's 18 millimeter if I'm not mistaken. And at this point, it really doesn't matter which one gets put on first because we haven't put it on the bag yet. It'll be hanging in the bag. Just like that. Put a little bit of tape over it. That piece we're not going to be peeling off, but this piece we will be. It just gives us a little extra protection on those prongs, not to wear down the other piece of vinyl. I mean, sorry, cork. I'm so used to using vinyl that I forgot. I'm actually just using cork. So I'm using cork in its natural state. So this is just printed cork. So I have a printed cork, and then I have one with like natural with gold specks. That's what this one is here. It's got like little gold specks in it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel my tape. And you do it now. There we go. And I'm going to fold this in half. See that? And actually it ended up being perfectly right in the center. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so let's do the other one. Perfect. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of my glue. I'm going to open it up because it usually closes up on me. I lost the little lid to this thing like a year ago. So this is a new thing. This is not a new thing, excuse me. I stored upside down so that way I can hopefully get this kind of there we go. I need to clean these off in a second. I just want to put a little bit around the edge, just so that when I go to stitch it, it seals and it's like creates it as one piece. I'm gonna put a couple clips around, and then we can come back to this after we finish doing our straps. Okay, just like that. Okay, put that back upside down. Oops, come on. There you go. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to take that, just put it to the side right now. Make a little strap, put that to the side. And I'm going to work with our handles. Okay, so these are 4-inch handles. So grab yourself a 2-inch ruler. And we're just going to mark down the center. Just makes it a little easier for us to make the strap. So I took a little bit of a break for June off of pretty much all my social media, and I even turned off my website for a little while. It's back up now. Because even when I had things listed as not being in stock, they would still sell for some odd reason. And it was very stressful. I was like, this is too stressful for me to try to like keep telling people, I'm so sorry, I don't know what happened. It's not in stock. And then I had a bobble with pre-orders, and yeah, so I was just very stressed out. Doing much better now. I had some time to do some reflecting and thinking and just resetting myself. I'm not gonna say I'm absolutely perfect, but I'm getting better. Okay. So now that I've done that, I can go ahead and peel that off and go towards the center, but leave a little tiny bit in between, like a 1/16 of an inch. Just to kind of make it a little easier for when we fold it over again, you can do that. Now you could do these as the double sided ones, but a portion of this will be going in onto the bag, so it's not necessary. And you can always make your straps longer or smaller. Like I said, this is a silk pattern. I had my t-shirt quilt templates out and I was like, oh, that'd be perfect. Let me just do that. There we go. Fold it in half. I like to go from the center out. Just a couple clips here and there, not too many. I may have to fiddle with my tension just a tiny bit. I was working on a all canvas bag, so it was as thick as everything else, so I had changed my settings a little bit. Just the tension, needle, and I've got it back to where it needs to be, I think. Cork is very forgiving though. Steam it a little bit and it closes up the holes. Vinyl, not so much. Depends on the vinyl. And then leather, depends on the leather. If it's a really nice soft one, sometimes you can steam it and it, you know, kind of disappears a little bit. Or sometimes you can't even see where you've done the different holes because of the stitching over where it was before anyway, kind of thing. So, and I say that because I may have to take off some stitches, put some more stitches in if my tension's not right. Okay. Okay. Very minimal hardware. There's some straps. Okay. I can clean it as I go. Make sure things aren't in the way. Put that over my shoulder. Put down. Much better. Attention is good. Much better. Okay. On the second part, I can go a little faster. As I am not taking this off every few seconds. Okay, and then if it's sting, just twist it the other way, and it starts going straight. It's just a memory thing. Okay, so I'm gonna put those like that. Put that to the side. Let's do the other one. Hi guys, if you're saying something, I am so sorry. I don't know what's going on, but I can't see any comments. It's so weird. Hi Cindy, how are you? Hope you're doing well. I know it's been a while. Good. I know it's been a hot minute. I think the last time I actually went live was last week, but it was like for a quick 15-minute, like short type of thing. It was a quick 15 minutes, boom. Yeah. Showing you guys how to install the grommets for the handles. I still have it up. I do want to edit it and just make it a little bit like a short almost. So I have to go out and back in, and then I can see comments. I'm sure on my actual phone that's hoarding over here, they probably come through a little bit better, but I don't know what's going on. Okay, there we go. So we got two beautiful handles. Let's see if these are ready to sew. Yeah, they're ready to sew. Okay. Fix attention just a tiny bit on that. Okay, next one. Oh, here it is. I was like, I knew it was around here somewhere. the grease everything out. Okay, so you kind of see here how this is kind of like not straight. I can take that to the rotary cutter and make that a lot straighter. If I'm not next to me at the sewing station, I could do it that way, but bear with me for just a second, guys. So I even that up, and I'm going to go to the other one. And there we go. Make sure they go and snap together. Good. Awesome. Okay, so that's done. And these are done. All right, so now we can get our exterior pieces. Now this is not a lined bag. This is a very straightforward, only cork bag. You can also do it with vinyl as long as the backing is presentable, you know what I mean? And you can always put HTV on it as well, like if you had some. Okay, so here's what it's going to look like when it is done. It's going to be a cute little tote. That's all it's going to do is just be a cute little tote. Little tote. I'm trying to think it's going to be too short of a handle right there. Probably. So I'll probably have to put it in like that. Oh, that's much better. Okay, so let's measure that and see. I'm guessing it's about 2 inches from the bottom. Okay, perfect. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So let's mark that so we know where we are going. Now, you can't mark cork with a pen or even one of those tandy leather silver pens because it will not come off. So I'm looking for my chalk. My little bitty piece. Here we go. All right, so this is 13 inches. So half of it would be 12 and a half, which is right here. So 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3. So 3 inches from each side. That's where we're going to put our straps, like so. Okay. Gonna mark that like that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm also going to make like almost like the kind of like the T of where it needs to go, and really press down on that. Take my other piece. Now, if there is direction to your fabric, like your print has direction, then you're going to want to make sure the top is up here. Okay, and it should transfer. It did transfer very well, like a little bit. I could see a little bit. So let's make that just a little darker. There we go. Okay, we're going to find our centers for all of our pieces. If you are using, if you're not going to fold this down or anything like that, and you're going to use like bias tape, then you can always use a little right there. But because I am going to bind it, it's really not going to make too much of a difference, but I wanted to make sure that I'm not slipping into it just in case. Okay, this half. I could snip on this end. And what I mean by snip is I like literally just take a little chunk right off of there. Okay. Got that, we've got that. We've got this one, we've got this one. My hands have been having issues working properly. Been doing crocheting and embroidery just to kind of keep my hand muscles going because it's been a challenge for sure. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to construct the bottom of the bag first and then add on the top pieces because it'll give me the opportunity to open up these seams and butterfly them open and down without all the rest of the bulk happening with the straps and the top and everything else. It'll just make it a little easier. Just a little easier. Okay, so we're gonna put pretty sides together. My cutout is just 1 inch. So you don't have to worry about having like a really big cutout. This is not like a huge tote. It's a very small, economical tote. Keep it in your car for, you know, project tote kind of thing. I think would be great. It's like a little project tote. So if you're working on projects and you're cutting or something and you're cutting by hand. I keep plenty of these little totes on me with different projects, whether it's a crochet project, baby blanket, anything that I'm working on. I do like to do a lot of hand cutting, like tracing and then cutting it by hand instead of doing it with like a row cutter, just because I have a lot of time when I'm waiting for my son during like swim practice and things. Okay, so now that we've done that, now we can butterfly this open and stitch it down. Okay, the good thing about this particular cork is it's very soft, very pliable. Good quality cork is like that. You don't have to worry about it cracking or breaking because it's good quality. I used to get mine directly from, I don't remember, it was at Costa Rica or I think it was Costa Rica, where they have a lot of cork trays. It was a South American country. I can't remember exactly which one though. I think it was. So I get it directly from them. Well, I used to. I don't really buy much things in bulk anymore because I'm not really selling like that anymore. I do have pre-orders for waterproof canvas. I just had one, but catastrophe. I'm like, oh my god. I don't know if I'm gonna do it again. But yeah, it was quite a feat. Okay, so now that I've done that, now I can stitch it from this side because this is going to be the pretty side. Now, could you make this all one piece and not do this? Absolutely. You can cut it as one piece. You just kind of have to work out the measurements on that. And I would say if you were to do that, then this is 1 inch. And then from here to here is, I don't know, let me measure it and I can tell you guys if you're using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. because that makes a difference too. Your seam allowance makes a difference. Oh, this beautiful, like, dark burgundy red is just, like, perfect. The only other color that probably would have been better would have been like a you know, burnt yellow kind of. So, oh, that would have been so nice. But that would have been nice. Okay, so this here is 1.5 by 1 inches tall. So this, if you just wanted to have this as one piece, and this is 9.5 inches. So 9.5 inches, and then just do that little cutout right in there. Okay, so now we can put our straps on. I am going to sew my straps on before I sew the other pieces on here. It's just a process of elimination and just making my pieces smaller and smaller and smaller. Just one of those. Okay, so the 2 inches from the bottom is where I'm placing oh no, that's too thick. I was gonna put that there. I was like, no, that's too thick. And I don't want to do the 1/4 inch either because that's too. So 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch it is. Okay, so let me see here. I obviously don't need the whole thing. And I want to come down 1 inch from there to give myself space so that when I can do my binding. Okay, you got to make sure that you're putting the double-sided tape both on the same side, so that when you go to put it on, it's not like twisted. So like that. That looks pretty. Okay. Let's do some measuring. So 5 inches. So 5 inches up is where we're going to stop sewing and go across. So we'll mark that with our chalk or just a clip. Okay. And stick the backing a little bit more towards the center so I don't stitch over here. Double-sided tape. I know words escape me. Okay. There we go. Let's just put this down just a little tiny bit. Let's cover. Better. Do it on the inside. Okay. It's like that's gonna be too far apart. See, that's why you always tape things too, because sometimes you make a mistake. Oh, that's cute. Okay, yeah, so it's gonna be on the inside of those lines. Okay. All right, so let's see. I got the squeakiest chair ever. I've tried WD-40. It's not working. It's just an old chair. I've had this chair for so long. Okay. So we can go ahead and stitch just on the outside of the original stitching. So the original stitching was 1/4 of an inch. I'm going in 1/8 of an inch on either side. Okay. Yeah, I'm not quite going to that line. I'm going to say that line's probably more like, just for your reference, it's more like 4 3/4. Now this is not going to be lined, so all of these stitches will be seen. So just make sure it makes it nice and tidy. Okay. Grab my thread so that it doesn't create a nest or like a little knot down at the bottom. You're going to hold your threads. I guess I could, no, I tied that off already. I mean, I back stitched, so that's fine. Hello guys. Hello. In case I didn't say hi, I'm having a really hard time seeing comments. So if you have been talking to me and I'm not responding, please forgive me. Live chat. Hi, Shanova. You have a blessed night too. Okay, so there we go. We can go either way. So really you could do like this just being 2 inches and then have it like it's a flat wide and then it turns into, or like this is fine. All right, the same process with the other top piece and strap. So I'm going to mark this one. I'm going to mark it still at 5 inches, but I know that I'm not going all the way up to it. I know I'm 1/4 of an inch away because my presser foot kind of goes right there. Okay. Grab my tape. And this is 1/2 inch tape. Okay. All right. Almost done with this bag, guys. A few more little details, but overall, really fast sew. trash out. Okay, pull up my threads. And like I had said, the rivets are completely optional, so you don't have to have rivets or a magnet, really. You could just be completely open to. Okay. Alrighty. Make sure that's nice and clean. Burn any of your threads. Remember, this is not an unlined bag, so everything looks nice. Okay. Before we go too far, I want to put my magnets on so that they actually like stay in place where they need to be. So now that I have them connected together like this, I can go ahead and make a notch. At the center. Now, if you are doing a fold down rather than the bias tape, then you're going to need to make your measurement and put this in between the foldings. So if I was going to fold this down like so, then I was going to have this magnet be like that. But I'm not doing that. I'm just going to put it to the center right there because I'm going to put binding on here. And what it's going to do is going to create like a snap together without it actually being attached to this piece of the bag. So you could have one that goes up and one that goes down. So it kind of like overlaps each other like that, or you could have it that it just kind of put the two pieces together, and that's what I'm doing. Oh, I didn't mark my centers on this one. Tisk, tisk. Not good. I mark the center. And then the center of my bottom as well. Okay. Okay. Oh, there we go. Clip this one in place. Okay, so now this strap, like I said, it could be, it's this big, it's going to be almost at the bottom of the bag. So I really want to have it so that it's sticking up almost to the side of the bag, but not quite. But I think that's going to be a good measurement. Like it ends like right there. So we're going to take this and trim it off. And put that there. Now we're just basting this in place because we are going to be covering these stitches with the binding. So just keep that in mind. I'm doing 1/8 of an inch. Okay, hopping over to my magnetic strap, magnetic snap, excuse me. I'm doing the same thing. And then I can just cut. If you're worried about the colors not matching, because I'm using like a navy blue for my binding, you could use navy blue thread, but I like the contrast. So, okay. Gotta get up early tomorrow because I have to travel to look at a job site that we're working on. Hi, Misty. How are you, sweetheart? You made any bags yet? Okay. Are you finishing up your quilts? I'm doing a t-shirt quilt class in Las Vegas. So bestie, so Keisha, I'm so excited. Okay, so now we got this piece. We got this piece. So we got our 2 top pieces and our bottom piece. So now what we're going to do, and it really doesn't matter which one at this point. You're just going to match up your bottoms together. I like to go a couple of small ones. Well, that's great. Small is better than none. And one is better than none. And even if it's not perfect, it's okay. Because I'm sure this bag's going to have plenty of flaws. Like the fact that this, like, not wanting to laugh. Okay. So we are going to sew this onto the bottom. See that? This is the bottom. Sew it, butterfly it, stitch it. A couple of projects. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my 3 stitch length, 1/4 inch seam allowance, back stitch. I am going to use my little clippers to kind of hold everything together. Now, if I wanted to make my life easier but then harder, I could tape it. And I say harder at the same time because if I put tape on it, I have to take the tape off in order for me to butterfly it. So, some say tomato, some say tomato. That makes me think. I don't know why that made me think of orange door, but it made me like, I wonder if like, if Lauren has had any orange door situations lately. I hope not. But it just reminded me, I'm like, wait a minute, like, it's been a while since I've seen one of her lives actually live. Hi, Melissa. Everything I make is pretty imperfect. Well, perfectly imperfect. Perfectly imperfect. I love it. Yep. Nobody said it had to be perfect. All right, so I'm using my 1/8 inch tape, and I'm really getting close to that, to those stitches. So then that way when I do like do my top stitching, I'm less likely to run into the tape. Not that this tape is extra sticky anyway, but just in case. And if you have like one of those seam rollers, that would be awesome. Like the heavy ones. Not those little plastic ones. The plastic ones work great for quilting. Not so much for cork and vinyl. Okay. This side seems to be having a hard time, but it'll stay as long as I'm putting pressure on it, so no worries about a thing. A little thing's gonna be alright. Okay. It's pretty much my motto these days. Everything's gonna be alright. Just take one day at a time. Stitch got a little loopy there, but that's okay. Anyways, I don't think I have any of these that match per se. Well, that one might, because it's a little bit more pink than purple. I don't know. I think if it was a natural cork with like black, it would be better. I gotta work on that. I have to work on that. Okay, now we're doing the same thing with the other side. You know who I haven't heard from in a while? Jade. I hope she's doing okay. Oh, and Io. The last time I talked to Io, she was in the, she was at Shanova's retreat class at Sew Whatever Studios. Oh, goodness, it seems like life is just like blazing by. Oops, what did I do? Oh, that's a pin. I'm gonna grab that. Because if I don't, Luna might get it. Okay, good. So hopefully she's doing good. Thank you, Misty. I just want sure. Melissa, I'm sorry, Melissa. Just like to make sure everybody is doing okay. Yeah, the night lives work a little bit better for me. Oops. Just because it's after my son's practice, and I'm also, able to grab something to eat really fast. So you should try to prep something ahead of time. At least my husband does sometimes too, because he does primarily all the cooking in his house. So I like to just make sure. I was just thinking about you the other day because I usually catch you live, but I haven't seen you in a while. And boom, you're alive. Yeah, I was taking a break in June. It just seems like the whole world has been like just crashing down on me. After losing my mom back in February, and it was starting to really catch up with me in May, like beginning of May and then the end of May. So Mother's Day was hard. My mom's birthday was hard, and that was all in May. So I just took everything very hard. So I kind of like reached out to Tori and a couple of my friends, and I was like, I just think I just need to just take a break for a little bit. And they're like, absolutely, go for it. So I did. I closed my website because even if things stock, it would still sell it, and it was just so annoying because I hated having to go back to people and be like, I'm so sorry, I'm out of stock of this, And then they're like, but it says it's in stock. I'm like, I know that, but I don't know why it's saying that there, because when I look at my Shopify, it doesn't say that it's in stock. So it was just a hosh-bosh of stuff. So I'm back. Doing better. I'm focusing more on just self-care and sewing for pleasure, not necessarily for like I have to do it like for a market or anything like that, testing or anything, just for fun, whatever I feel like making. That's how I came up with that dice game. I was like, we're just want to do stuff for fun. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's I'm very, very, very thankful that I did. My husband, as usual, is very supportive. So he was right there with me through the ups and downs. And he was like, yeah, if you need to take a break, take a break. I was like, okay. So the website's up now. My pink hardware is back. I just got it in stock literally on Monday. So it's there. If you have the Kasaya calendar, the coupon is good. So you can go on there and shop away. It may not look all that appealing because I didn't get a time to. I think is and beginning are always hard for me because losing my son in 5 years, August 5th. And ventilator, July 22nd. Those 2 weeks suck. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I can understand that. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put pretty sides together. And then sew down each side. Butterfly that open. And then do it. Hi, Wendy. Hello, hello. I love it. My beautiful peeps are here. Beep, beep. I'm going to line that up so that it lines up so it matches on the side. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've had this print in Cork for a while. I've had it in stock since like 2 years ago I had it 2 years ago and then I reordered it last year. But for some reason it doesn't pop up in search engines when people are looking like to like buy it. Like that's what I'm saying. My Shopify account is like all jacked up. It is really jacked up to the point where I'm like so frustrated with it. You know, I was trying to revamp the website, you know, while I was taking my break, and I was like, I don't have the mental capacity for this. So I didn't, and then I reopened it on Monday. And I'm like, oh, like I have to do something. Something is like not working right, because either things just won't show up, even if you search for them, or it'll sell things that are not in stock. Like one or the other. It's really crazy. It's like a nightmare. This might be a silly question, but what do you mean by butterfly? Oh, okay. So not a silly question at all. So what I mean by butterfly is like I open up the seam and I stitch along that seam. So I make it flat. So instead of it just being together, I'll show you on this side, it makes it nice and flat and it makes it look nice, especially since this is not a lined bag. This is a completely natural unlined bag, very much like a leather bag would be when you make it and it's not lined. You see all the stitches, you see everything. So you do have to take your time on it, but it does help you know, to keep the costs down when it comes to materials. Any little bit you can save so that you're not having to charge as much for a quality product. Go for it. Okay, so you see how this is a regular seam that both pieces are together. So butterfly means that we're going to take that seam, split it open, and it's going to be like wings of a butterfly. So you just kind of push it together, and then you're going to stitch on either side. I'm not going to do that until I've done the other side because I'll just knock all the pins off, but that's what it is. Yeah, so it's actually a term that quilters use and leather making. They call it that as well. So it's been around. Welcome. And there is absolutely no silly question except when you don't ask. Because sometimes I don't even know things. I have to ask people. Like, I don't think Shanova's here anymore, but I used to have to call her on a daily, be like, girl, what is this? I haven't talked to her in a minute though. I feel bad. It's like ever since my world was turned upside down, it seems like I haven't had many conversations with a lot of my sewing friends. And then I've been doing more stuff with like real estate. So yeah. I got a project out in Smithfield that I'm working on. I'm gonna go tomorrow because the cabinets are being installed. They're finishing out the framing work in the kitchen, laundry area, and then next week we should be painting. So lots of good things. Lots of good things. This is when one of those sleeve boards are amazing. Like the sleeve boards that you use for ironing. Like you could just put this on there and then just butterfly this open. Okay. Come on. Open up. There we go. And you could do one side at a time. You don't have to do both sides, like sticking them on both at the same time. I do find it's easier. Just because when I'm putting it underneath, it like lays where it needs to. Now, if you wanted to, you could just bind these seams. Because I have binding right here. You could bind the seam and not do all this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go like this. Really get my leverage because I'm going to be pulling this back. That's why I couldn't do this part until after I've sewn both sides, because if you try to do it, they're flying everywhere. Obviously, if you have a cylinder arm, this is a lot easier. But nothing is impossible. Impossible for a plain yellow pumpkin. Personally, that's my favorite version of Cinderella, but all right. So this is where it gets a little tricky. You're trying to really go as far as you can, or as long as you can. And see, this thing twisted open on me. It unsticked. There you go. Now I feel you flat. I'm literally coming to the very, 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 very edge. But at the same time, I'm trying to make sure I don't catch the bottom of the box. Okay, so the toughest part is over. I use the 1/2 inch double folded bias tape, bias binding. And what I mean by 1/2 inch, that means like that's like the final size after it's been folded twice. I find it's a good binding size. It's very accessible. I buy mine by the spool off Amazon, like $15, and it's like 100 yards or something. So. Okay. So that's how that looks. And then I'll see that's on the outside. So let's do this one more time. One more time. Yeah, I was pretty bad that I was like, even like up until like this past weekend, I was oversensitized, like so overstimulated by any little thing that I'd just be driving for hours without music. Nothing playing out of this car stereo, just road, which is very unlike me. But I needed to be alone with my thoughts for a little while. Hello? Was that you, Junior?
Are you still in your life?
I am. But you can always give me kisses. It's facing this way so they can't see you, baby. Give me some kisses. Good night. I love you.
Do you want me to keep this one? Are you probably taking me tomorrow?
Yeah. No, Daddy is. I've got to go to Smithfield.
Okay.
Because I got to take Sierra to Meredith College.
Wait, can you make sure to
Smithfield.
pack my lunch beforehand? Or?
Yes.
Because
I think we're both leaving at the same time, but
I want those crackers, please.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're leaving the house at the same time. Thank you. I'm just not taking you because I've got to go to Smithfield and then Meredith.
Okay.
Are you doing on this one? Sorry if I missed it. Am I doing a what? Are you? No lining. No lining. It is a lined bag. Good question. Hi, baby girl. Were you sleeping? Oh, do you want to go outside? Okay, hold on. Hold on, I gotta let Luna out now. Here you go, baby girl. Hi, baby. Okay, go. Go. Okay. Then don't go outside. You want to go outside? Go. No. Are the cicadas scaring you? Yeah, she's like, it's too loud. Yeah, I'm not doing a lining. I find that a lot of times your costs just really start going up with bag making if you're not conscious of which materials you're using. And cork is already kind of expensive, so I'm like, to keep the cost down so that people can afford the bag. Like, a lot of times they don't really care if it's lined or not. Really. They just want a really nice bag. So, hi, Ayo! Oh my gosh, I'm sorry I missed you. Hi, I was just talking about you. I was saying that the last time that I, like, saw or heard from you was during Nova's class at whatever studios. It was like right after that. I'm sure you guys had a blast. What is it, baby? Luna's over there, like, sniffing, like, yes, that's your spot, baby. She's trying to make sure nobody else has been in her spot. What is it, babies? Take it nice and slow. Turn them that way. Your stitching is straight because they can see all of it on the inside and the outside. It's a little wonky, it's okay. That's what it means to be handmade or handcrafted. Okay, but I will be binding the top. It was so much fun, wasn't it? I wish I could have gone. It was literally right the weekend before my mother-in-law's 75th birthday party. And originally I'm the one that started the whole planning process and everything. I did hand it over to a family member after my mom passed away because I just couldn't mentally do it. But I was still there, and I was like, I can't not miss it. But I was like, maybe I can get there a different time. I saw Lola has one at the end of October. She just talked about that, and I was like, oh, that would be amazing. I finally finished the mini copy and gave it to my niece for her birthday in June. Oh, that's so nice. Where do you recommend getting low shank feet for domestic machines? Compensated and non-stick. So Sewing Parts online has a really big variety of low shank. The low shank ones are the ones that snap on and off. The high shank ones are the ones that go up and you can take the screw. So I would say Sewing Parts online would be my recommendation. The compensating foot might be a little harder. The Teflon foot should be a little bit more universal. It shouldn't be as hard to find. Even at Waywack, I think Waywack does feet now. Oh no, it's hardware. I can't remember. There we go. And Amazon sometimes has them too, but whenever I buy sewing feet from Amazon, I try to go through what was that lady? There was like Honeybee or Miss Bee or something like that. I don't know. Don't quote me. I don't remember. I had a package of them somewhere, but I don't have them on me now. Or like Brother or Singer, like the actual store for them, rather than just an anonymous person. So right here, you can just take that and just kind of like tack it down. Like you can put a rivet right through there and it'll just go that way, and it'll just stick to the side, or just leave it. You can bind it if you want to, but I'm not going to. All right, so now we're going to bind the bag. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. Honey sew, that's right, Landa. See? go. I have not had any issues with any of her sewing feet. Honey sew. Oh, I mean, it could be a man. I'm sorry. I would just think honey sew is a woman. Like I could completely wrong. All right. So that snaps together. That goes in. Look at that cute bag. It's gonna be a little top heavy. Candles are heavy. The way you can kind of, oh, hold on. There we go. The way you can combat that is if you use 2-inch handles instead of 4-inch. That way they're not as heavy, and they're not as thick. So that's how I would. That's what I would do to make up the difference on that. If you wanted to make these longer so that they go into this seam, that would probably be even better. But be aware that if you do that, this is going to be very hard to butterfly. Just letting you know. So if you do the whole 2-inch thing, then you can have this part here be just flat. Maybe next week's live I'll do just as an alternate strap option, so that way you guys can see what it looks like if we did like the flat and then like bound, like they closed off like that. Oh, looks good so far. Yeah, I know. Okay, so now that I've done that, I want to do my binding. So with the binding, you do this with tape, or you could just do it as is. So what I like to do is have my binding and then open it up the second way and fold it over on it. Okay, that's where the starting of it is going to be. Now you could do the start of this at the corner or at the center or just right off of the side here. It's usually not too noticeable wherever you're starting, so I'd say it's not like the end of the world if it's not quite exactly where it needs to be. So yeah, so I do this without clipping. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it at a a basting stitch. I'm gonna start and I'm gonna go right along that folded edge. So like there's 3 folds. There's this one fold, center fold, and then side fold. So this is the right fold, center, and then left. I'm going to stitch right in that ditch, like right in the ditch of that, if not just a little bit more towards the right of that fold. That's what I'm doing. Hey baby, can you come close the door? The door down here, baby. Remember it was closed when you came up? When you came down? I didn't hold my thread, so it kind of like, I didn't hold my threads, it's kind of like made a little nest. I don't know, this is kind of like tricky here, but let's see. Now, to start off, if you want to use a clip to start off, absolutely you can. Nobody says you don't have to. I'm going to probably get you guys a little closer so you guys can see what I am doing. So let's see if I could do this without making a whole like mess. Why isn't it? Hold on. My phone is saying low battery. That makes no sense because I've had it plugged in the whole time. Technical issues. Technical issues. Okay. Yeah. All right. So hopefully you guys can at least see a little bit better, and hopefully I don't knock into you guys too much. Okay. Did you tuck your straps? No, they're raw right there. I didn't tuck them. They're just raw. Oh, you mean right here? Yes, I'm going to be pulling them out of the way. Oh, thank you. I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying. You're saying, oops, sorry, move it out of the way before I'm stitching. Because once I go around, it's going to get in the way. Thank you. Thank you, Landon. So what? I'm more worried about the camera angle than my strap. But that is important. Okay, so and it'll be easier when I do this from the other side. There. You guys can see. Okay, when I get closer towards where I started, then I cut it off the roll. See, so that's why I didn't sew them all the way up to here, because I am doing a binding. Now, if you weren't binding and you're just folding it down, also leave that gap, but then just fold it down so it meets there. So when you do your top stitching, you just catch your strap. That would be cool too. So many options. So many options. Okay. So I'm going to overlap just by a little bit and then cut it off. So right here, I just did it enough so that it would overlap. See? And just overlap a little bit. Okay. Pew, pew. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take this and roll it to the front. Just take it, roll it to the front. And then I'm going to sew this from the top. So I'm going to have to turn this right side, like wrong side out. I like to just kind of like pre-fold it. If you want to use clips and or tape or anything like that, by all means do that. The only part that I kind of get like a little bit like fiddly with is right here where the connection is. I like to trim that, fold it, and then fold it. And this is the part here that I like to really make sure matches up nicely and that there isn't much of a different gap and things like that. Like that's where I'll probably put my clip. So it's about the only part I put a clip on. It's right there. Did Luna go upstairs? Oop. Okay. So now I can turn it wrong side out. And this is when you know you have good cork. When you can turn it right side out and side out and everything, and you're not worried about it cracking or breaking. That cheap stuff breaks. And then you are in trouble. Trouble, 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 trouble. Okay, so doing the same thing, I'm tucking my straps. Like I said, it's going to be easier when you do it this direction. And I'm going to start sewing right here where my clips are. Okay. And I'm sewing about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. This bottom edge, not the top edge. That blue just really sets it off. Beautiful navy blue. Now, if I had it on, this would be so much easier, but what's the fun in that? But the good thing about domestics is you can take off the arm piece and just release it so that it becomes a underarm. So, and this can totally on a domestic as long as you do 2-inch straps and just fold them in half rather than folding them twice with a 4-inch. So I would say that's the only part that would be kind of thick that might be questionable on a domestic. All right, let's pull you guys out. All right, she's done. If you want, you could put binding over that too if you wanted to. Okay. There we go. And you guys are probably going to see me use cork a lot more, just because I have like literally like, I think it's like a 20-yard roll of this here. I've only got like a yard or so, or a yard and a half of this one. So I might use it for accents and things like that, but the next one I'm going to do is almost going to be like Empress kind of style, but I'm going to do hand embroidery. So you guys are going to love that. So here it is. Oh, you guys can't see anything. Jesus. There. How's that? Is that better? Oh my. There we go. Cork. See that? And I have a little thing to hold my keys. It snaps together. It closes. You can't see it on the outside. It looks really nice. I'm going to just get some water and take chalk marks. You guys can't see it. I love it. So that's a cute little tote. Like I said, you don't even have to use the binding. You could just fold it down and then sew. But I'll see if I can do a video either this weekend and just like do it like a sewing candy, kind of like Toy likes to say, and just showing you the alternate to this strap here. Use the exact same measurements for everything and just change the strap and see how that works. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it could make a big statement with just the straps being a little different. Oh, thank you, Io. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to hit the like button. Share it with someone. Yeah, it makes a huge difference. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me, even through my little timeout. So hopefully everything keeps going well, and I will continue to sew. Now I do have the Barbie pink, the hot Barbie pink hardware back in stock. Did not get the rivets. Rivets were very expensive. So I was like, I don't think anybody's going to pay like $3 for a pack of 20 rivets. And that would have been like close to my cost. So I was like, no, I don't think anybody's going to do that. So I didn't get the rivets, but I've got the 1-inch slider hook things and matching zipper pull. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Stay blessed, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.